Okay, so I think I figured out a way to get an NPC to have its visuals replaced by another NPC. And I'm going to try to show you how to do this. I'm going to replace Morgaine's visuals with Alicia from 3D NPCs, particularly using the Kuyima visuals for 3D NPCs. So we're going to see how that goes. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just install the Morgaine mod. You can see it's already here, but I'm going to install another copy just to show how the process works. Okay, so I'm going to unpack it just to see what's overwriting what. Okay. So then I see the plugin file popping up in MO2. So I'm going to open it up, see what's conflicting. You probably don't need to do this, but I'm just going to make sure anything it has isn't overwriting anything else, but you can maybe skip this step. Okay. So then the next important step is to make sure that the follower mod whose visuals you're going to use as like the end product, like what you want the character to look like at the end, is already installed, and if it's not, you would install it now. I've already got Kuyima for 3D NPCs installed. I can show you here. So this is the mod whose visuals I'm going to be pulling from. So yeah, so if you haven't installed it, install it now. Okay. So I'll assume you've installed this. I'm going to open up SSEdit or SSEdit because I'm on SSE. I've got a billion mods, so this is going to take a bit. I chose Alicia as an NPC to replace because Alicia is, I think, a different base, like Skyrim race than Morgaine is. So I wanted to show the process for doing it for a character who's of a different race. And this matters because using visual files like a head mesh, for example, I think if you're doing it for a different race, then like moving it from a character of one race to a character of a different race, it can mess things up. So potentially, if you don't like change the race file to, or the race path, I guess, they need to, the character, as far as I know, needs to be the same race as the visuals of the character that it was created for. So the race needs to match the visuals, or the character's race whose visuals you're using. Now, I don't know, this might be an issue. I don't know if changing the race of the follower is going to cause issues for the mod. There's a lot of stuff in this follower mod, but they're not using a custom race as far as I can see, and it shouldn't cause issues as far as I know, but it might. So just be aware that that's a possibility when you do this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the Morgaine follower, and I'm going to make a patch by right-clicking. And yeah, oh, also you'll need to have SSEdit, and I recommend Mod Organizer too. I'm doing this with Mod Organizer too. If you're not, I this is not going to be of much help to you, or you'll have to find a way to like translate it into whatever mod manager you use. But yeah, I'm using mod organizer too. Totally assumed everyone does that. It's a silly assumption on my part, but here we go. So I'm making a new patch, just a regular ESP for now. I'm going to call it Morgaine visuals patch. Okay. So we can scroll down and see that this patch has popped up in the left pane of SSEdit, non-player character. So we see that it has the same form ID as the other one, which means it's overwriting. And in the right pane we can see that our patch has an NPC. This is the patch name, this is the NPC who's overwriting your follower. Now everything's the same. All of these green lines, everything's the same here. But we're going to start changing some of these things shortly. Okay. So now the next thing we're going to do, and remember the thing we did here, before we go to the next step, the thing we did here is right click the follower and copy as override into. This means that it's keeping the record, it's like the same record, it's just like another copy of it in the patch mod. But it's the same, it has the same form ID, it affects the same NPC. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is find the NPC whose visuals you want. So we're going with Alicia. So we go to 3D NPC, which is interesting NPCs. Non-player character actor. And we scroll down until we see Alicia. Hopefully I haven't missed her. I may have. Okay, so I'm just going to sort by name, make this a little easier on myself. There we go. Okay. So now we're taking the visuals from Kujima. So in the right panel, I'm finding the Kujima mod. Then I'm right clicking it and I'm doing copy as new record. And this is so we can kind of use it as a base staging file without needing to worry about overwriting anything in the original NPC's files. So copy as new record, Alicia stagey pants, because we're using it as a staging NPC, like a jumping off point. And then we're going to also create a new staging file for this. Call it whatever you want. This isn't going in the load order. This is just being used for now. Okay, so then we sort by form IDs again, so we can find it at the bottom. Scroll to the bottom. Now we see we've got an NPC with a new editor ID, Alicia Stagey Pants. So this is an entirely new NPC that we're going to use to change the visuals of Morgaine. And we do this by right-clicking Alicia Stagey Pants, and we go to change form ID. Then we're going to change the form ID to Morgaine's form ID. So we copying this part. E00 C O or 0E98. Now it's going to ask if we want to make a master file of the Morgaine mod for our staging mod. Yeah, that's fine. Again, we're not using the staging mod except when we do this process. Okay, so then I can click on Alicia's stagey pants. So now we can pull relevant references from Alicia over into our patch for Morgaine. So one of them is the race one. So we're going to change Morgaine's race to Imperial, which is Alicia's race. We're going to scroll down. So this is I guess a bit of a trickier part, and I'm not sure exactly how to do this. If you're looking to change everything about Morgaine, and not just like the face, then you might want to mess with the worn armor bit, because the way I'm doing it, the body of Morgaine is going to look, and the default outfit is going to look like Morgaine's does. It's just the face and like kind of skin textures of Alicia that's going to get used. So yeah, if you are using a follower that has their own worn armor, or you just want their body and to look entirely different, that will be a little bit different, and I'm not sure entirely how to do that. Yeah. Okay, so then we're going to move our head parts over from Alicia. So we left click and drag. And this is going to involve giving the master file turning the Morgaine patch, or making it have the follower mod as a master file. And I haven't figured out a way around this, but hopefully that's okay. Move the hair color over, then the height, the weight, then texture lighting, face morphs, we remove face parts because Alicia doesn't have them, and then move over tint layers. Okay, so now this part should be done. We can save these, and then exit out of SSEdit. Okay. So now we can activate our Morgaine visuals patch. Then I'm going to move it into a new folder by going to create empty mod up here. Create empty mod, Morgaine visuals batch. Sure. So then I'm finding where the patch file is, which is in my overwrite folder. So I'm opening an Explorer, clicking on the patch, Control X to cut it, and then I right click and open the patch folder and paste. Or it doesn't want to go for some reason. So try that again. There we go. Then enable it. Refresh. Okay, and now it's in this folder. Again, we don't need these staging files enabled. So now what we do is in the left pane, we find Kuyima. Then we go to the folder. And we copy the BSA files. And we can just copy them into the patch folder. Now we're going to need another tool called Cathedral Assets Optimizer. So let's see, Cathedral Assets Optimizer. I was going to try downloading another follower mod. I decided to just use one I've already got, which was 3D NPCs. Okay. So you can download the Assets Optimizer. Make sure to install any of the requirements. So Visual C++. So we download that. We can pop it open. And we could even go and just like make a folder for it. This might be a bad idea. Never mind. Here, we can put it in our mods folder for now. I wouldn't normally recommend doing this. I'm just doing this for my convenience. Drop it onto the desktop or something, like in its own folder. Okay, so now I'm opening it up. It's going to give you a tooltip. I'm just going to uncheck textures, make sure animations is unchecked, and I'm going to hit extract BSA. I'm going to set this for one mod. Make sure that the profile is set for SSE. I'm assuming you're using SSE here. I don't actually remember. I don't think this process should be hugely different if you're doing it for Legendary Edition, but it might be. Okay, so we're going to go to back to our folder where we had the Morgaine visuals patch. We're going to copy the file path into here, and then when it's only extract BSA ticked, we can untick create dummy plugins as well. No meshes ticked. Probably don't need to untick that, but will anyway. None of these others ticked. Okay, and then hit run. Oh, you have unsaved changes. Sure. We'll do that. Okay, so now you can see it's unpacking things here. So the only things we're really going to want, because we remember we've already got the Kuyima mod installed, so we already have all of the individual face parts and head part files and the kind of character expression files. We just are going to want the face geometry and the face tint files for Alicia. Okay, so we can go to meshes, actors, or actually, what's the best way of doing this? Okay, I think I know. So you can go to, so we were in meshes, actors, character, and we can go into Kuyima and just delete everything but Alicia. I don't know if this is necessary. It's probably not, but I'm just going to do it this way because this is how it worked when I did it once before. So then we go into FaceGen data, FaceGeom, 3D NPCs, and we are now going to change it to the name of the ESP that has Morgaine, the original one. So Morgaine custom follower.esp. I'm just going to open it up so we can copy this file name. Control C to copy. Just copy like that. And then change the name here. Then we go into this folder and we find the form ID for Alicia, which is this one. Keep in mind this is from the original Kojima mod, which we're using to pull visuals from. So this is the one right here, so we can delete everything else except this one from this folder. Okay, so now another thing that I've done is I took a picture of what Morgaine's form ID is. So it's EE, or it's E00. Now, for me, this is the form ID. The first few digits of this are going to be different depending on your load order. So we just are going to call this the first 3 digits 000, and then we're only going to look at the ones beyond that. So C0E98. So 000, C0E98. So now this should overwrite the mesh from the Morgaine mod. Just going to check to make sure that's right. C0E98, C0E98. Okay, good. Now we can go all the way back to the Morgaine visuals patch like the beginning. Go to textures, actors, character, and when I did this the first time, I just deleted this entirely because again, it's already in the original follower mod that we're pulling visuals from, which is Kojima. Like I've already got that installed in my load order. So I can delete that. Then we go to FaceGen data, face tint, and we're going to rename this to the name of the original Morgaine ESP file. And we can sort by or look at it through details, and then again find the Alicia form ID and make that the one we don't delete all the others, and then change it, the form ID or the name, to 000 C0E98. Okay, now if we go back into Mod Organizer and we refresh, well, let's see if this has been unpacked. Okay, it starts at unpacked. So if we refresh, we should ideally see this overwriting. If we go to conflicts, we have it overwriting the .dds face tint file and the .nif face geometry file. Okay. So I think we should be good here. So if we go load up the game, this is going to take a few minutes because my computer it's an oldie but a goodie, but the old part when running very modded Skyrim becomes more relevant. because it slows things down. So we're going to load things up. Just wait for it to do its thing. I guess I'll spend a minute talking about the worn armor thing. So I've made an assumption that you want the character to, say, like have a different body, but keep the armor or outfit and aesthetic of Morgaine. If you don't want that, then I think what you could do is just remove that worn armor thing, and also you could copy over the outfit file or the outfit path from whoever you're copying from in SSEdit. So we can give that a try in a few minutes and see if that works. But if it doesn't, I don't know how much help I'm going to be because I'm not really sure how to solve that. But we can give it a try. It'll make this video longer, but hopefully that'll be okay. Okay, so I'm just going to load into a save. Okay. So just in case she goes hostile, I'm turning God mode on. And we're going to do player.place at me. And this time we are going to actually need the form ID from our load order to load her in. So for me, it's E00 and then C0E98. So E00 C0E98.
Hold it right there, Dragon Slayer. Come any closer and I will turn your guts into jelly.
So as you can see, she looks like Alicia from Kuyuna. I mean, I guess without knowing what Alicia looks like, that's not a ton of help. But we can also just like pop open our mod list again. And go to 3D NPC, see where it is in the load order. So it's 08. And I think it was, let's just see. 1F05D4. Okay, player, place at 1. Okay, 08, 1F05D4.
Wait, where are you going?
And you can see these are very similar looking people, except this one has the outfit from Morgaine and the voice. And as far as I can tell, the stats and everything else, the perks, any other relevant references that she needs. So now we're going to see, going to close out. Okay. Now let's pop open SSEdit again. Ooh, wait. Yeah, okay. We can do it this way. We'll just redo some of the process. Let all the mods load. Okay, so now we're going to find Alicia again. Go to 3D NPCs, non-player characters. Maybe I did that a little bit fast. So 3D NPCs, scroll down to non-player character, actor in brackets. And then we're going to scroll down until we find the form ID. I'm going to see if I can find it. So it should be 1F0. Let's see if I can find it. There we go, 1F05V4. So we're going to go again find Kuyima, right click. We're going to copy as new record. Now we can change the editor ID. I'm going to say Alicia with outfit. And then just make a patch of this. Staging, Alicia outfit, we'll call it. Again, this isn't going to get loaded in the load order. Then we can scroll to the bottom in the left panel. Find our staging file. Then again, right click the staging file. And oh no, wait, sorry. Right click the NPC, change form ID, and again change it to Morgaine's form ID. So E00C0E98, and again we'll let it become a master. So now we can try removing the outfit or the worn armor for Morgaine, and scroll down till we get to the outfit reference, and then we can move her Alicia's standard default outfit over and replace the Necromancer Goddess outfit from Morgaine. I would, before saving all these things, we'll make a backup of the Morgaine patch. So go back into Mod Organizer. Right click, open in Explorer. Copy. Make a backup folder. And just rename it. Okay. Then we can go back into SSEdit, which we haven't closed, just Alt-tabbed out of. Save. And we can save this staging file, though we're not going to use it, just in case you want to come back to it. And as well as the visual patch. Now that we've made a backup, hit OK. Close out of this. Now, if we go back in here, this should have just been saved like a minute ago. Okay, and it was. Then we can go back in to the game. Again, it'll take a few minutes to load up. So now I'm on shaky ground. I have no idea if this is actually going to work, but it might. It might work. And now you've got kind of two different ways to do this. Either just fully replacing everything about the visuals of Morgaine with the different follower that you've already got installed. Or you can keep Morgaine's outfit. And kind of what her body overall looks like, but with the different head and different, say, skin tone. Now the process would change if you were doing this for a follower that you didn't actually want to have installed, and that's a whole other thing, and I'm not going to try to cover it here. But I'd recommend just, at least if you're starting and you want to be following what I'm doing, just do it with a follower who you have installed. You don't have to use that follower, but just install them into your game and into Mod Organizer so you can follow this method. If someone else knows a way, you can reply in either the comments on Reddit or here, then aces, that's great, but this is the only way that I've tested and that I know produces a result. Well, I haven't tested the thing we're doing now, but I did test the one where you replace her head and skin tone, but not the outfit. Okay, so now we're going to try player, God mode just in case, player, place at me, and then we can do E00, wait, yeah, E00, and then what was the rest? C0E98. C0E98.
Huh?
Okay.
Hold it right there,
did work.
Dragon Slayer. Come any closer and I will turn your guts into jelly.
So now she's using Alicia's default outfit as well as head and skin tone. And depending on how you want to do it, you can, I guess, do it either of these ways. So hopefully I've covered everything here. We can just pop back out and take one last look at Mod Organizer to see what we've got enabled and what's not enabled. So we've got Morgaine, the base mod. It's got the textures, face tint, DDS file overwriting from our patch, and the Messrs face geometry.nif file overwriting as well. Then we've got the patch folder, which we can open up in Explorer. And we've got the patch enabled in our right panel, none of the staging patches enabled, and of course the Morgaine custom voice follower, as well as the original 3D NPCs and Kuyima enabled also in our loader. Okay. So in meshes, in our patch, we've got the Kuyima files for Alicia. Again, it's probably okay not to have this, but I've got them just in case. And then the face Gingetta, face geometry, then the name of the original Morgaine mod, and then the form ID with like just zeros at the beginning for Morgaine, and then textures, actors, character, face Gingetta, face tint, and then the Morgaine mod, and then again 000 with the face tint that's acting on Morgaine, but that is originally from Alicia. So good luck. This is going to require having Mod Organizer using this specific method. Will require Mod Organizer 2, SSEdit set up in it, and downloading Cathedral Assets Optimizer, as well as the Visual Studio or whatever the Cathedral Assets Optimizer requirement was. I don't remember exactly what that is. Visual C++ 2019 or 2017. So good luck, and I'll try to answer some questions if I can on the subreddit.